Hey Blade fans, OG Blade Reviews with a USA made knife on the table today from Kershaw. And it is an automagic knife, automatic that is. Came out a short while ago. It is the latest in the series called the Launch. You're probably familiar with it if you know anything about USA-made autos. They all come in a familiar red box, Kershaw. And Kershaw is the parent company. You may also have seen or own ZT, zero tolerance knives. That's their upper end. So here's the difference between them and companies like WE and Concept and so forth, in that the company that is well known was well known for more budgety knives and then developed a higher tier, whereas the other companies developed their higher tier first and then developed one, or in some cases two, budget level tiers. Well, this is the Launch 22, and it is in a familiar package. I'm going to show you an earlier model or models with a similar layout. We have an aluminum chassis, aluminum handle, milled as far as I know. I don't think it's a cast aluminum. Keeps the knife fairly light. This one's got a green ano on the aluminum. I'm not sure the grade of aluminum. Not too familiar with all of that. There is your button with no secondary locking mechanism or safety mechanism. They just give you the button. I'm not sure that Kershaw does any that has a secondary lock. Well, let's open it up. And there it is in all its glory. We have a bayonet style grind. Swedge on the top, obviously not sharpened. We don't want it cutting us when it's clipped into the pocket. Speaking of clips, it's got a switchable deep carry clip. There's your holes for the lefties. There is the clip on the right as it's set up from the factory. Deep carry surface mounted. All right, no provision, no milling out made for the base of the clip. And it's fairly strong as clips go. This Micarta that they give you, kind of looks like a linen micarta. Fairly dry and grayish looking when you get it. What I do is take in, I think it's an Obanov's leather treatment. It's like a paste. I think there's some mink oil in there, so on and so forth. And I rub it in there. It does a great job of darkening it down. I know some other recommendations from other factories are like tea tree oil, not tea tree oil, but an oil that you use on wood. You know, any of those wood finishing oils might work as well and darken it down. But that's what I did, because I didn't like that powdery look of the micarta. It looks pretty decent now. You can see the lighter tone of the threads showing through. The spring on this guy is strong. I mean, I'd rate it right up there with Pro Cut and some of the others with a strong spring. Side opening automatic, USA made, as I said. Kai is, I guess we could say Kai is the main company. I was saying Kershaw was, but Kai is kind of the holding company for Kershaw and ZT. There's your American flag, showing that it is USA made entirely. It's in Magnacut, and they've been turning out the Launch series, the past few iterations of the Launch series, in Magnacut. I did not look ahead of time to see what the HRC is. Most companies now, knowing that customers really want Magnacut and other steels hardened up there to the max, it is likely well over 60, but again, that's just a guess of mine. Nice light knife, should carry easily in the pocket. Keep in mind that automatic knives are all subject to your state and local laws regarding carrying automatic knives, and there are still states that do not allow you to carry an automatic knife, and perhaps some that don't allow you to possess it. I happen to live in a state where I can possess it, but not carry it on the street. Hopefully that'll change soon. Doug Ritter and Knife Rights has been going around and changing a lot of those antiquated laws. An automatic knife is no more or less dangerous than a manually opening knife. Might be more dangerous to the user if they don't know what they're doing with the button. 8¼ inches overall. So we busted that 8-inch magic mark, so to speak. We got about I think they're saying 3.5. It's 3.5 right to the point, the forward point of the handle. But if we go to the edge, we've got actually like a 3.4. So they may be calling it a 3.4. Not sure. If we switch to metrics, we've got about 21 centimeters overall, and we've got 9 centimeters on the blade length, which would be 90 millimeters. And inches across the handle, 0.52, just over ½ inch, and 0.15 on the blade stock. Going back in millimeters, 13.1 millimeters on the handle, and 3.9 millimeters, almost 4 millimeters on the blade stock. Weight. And let's get it around to grams. Weight in grams, 105 grams. Ounces, 3.7 ounces. Well under 4 inches, not quite the magic ounce per inch ratio, but a button that we're always worried about these knives that are automatic and pushing the button when it's in your pocket or when you don't want to and it opens. Well, most of the knives we see these days, if you accidentally push with the flat of your thumb, she ain't going to open. It begins to creep a little bit, but you've got to dig the tip of your thumb in order to open the knife. In other words, you got to be positive and want to open the knife, and then it opens very quickly. You can see a little bit of a little shake, a little tremor at the end there. No, I'm not getting tremors yet. It's not milled out on the inside, and in fact, we have a steel frame, so we have aluminum scales, more or less. Let's see. Now, I'm not getting any draw whatsoever. Not sure what I was seeing. They're solid aluminum scales. Sorry, folks. It looked dark inside as though we had a different color, but we do have the green through and through. Got an adjustable pivot should you want to do that. We have a centered blade. Looks very good to me. Got some jimping on the blade, none on the handle, and some jimping back here. Your index finger and your thumb can get the jimping on the pommel and up here. Zoom out a little bit. Feels good in the pocket. I'll point down, but edge out. You could go edge in. It's getting close to being a neutral handle, but there's a little bit of a curve in there. A little bit of a curve on the back. Plenty of handle. I got an inch left over. So for roughly a 3.5 inch knife, you know, you've got plenty of handle to hold on to. It's not a small knife in that regard. And your balance is right there in the center of that finger groove. Kind of a squared off finger groove with a hint of a guard. So for those worried about sliding forward, not too bad at all. I think you're going to stop there. Although the handle is fairly smooth, but not slick. Good usable work knife. Stonewashed blackened blade. And do I have any paper? Usually I hunt for some before I start. Let's see what kind of an edge they gave us in this Magnacut. That looked good. Got to remember to draw the blade. Yeah, I mean, it's a polished on edge. Kind of my bane. But that's how they finish all the edges these days, or most of them at the factory, is that I can slide my finger there and it doesn't have any bite. But it's shaving sharp, so it'll pop hairs off your arm. I don't have many hairs on my arms, but I'm not going to demo that. I am going to show you a few compares. We've got also the Launch 15 that I got a while back. Very similar bayonet ground blade, but a little narrower and a little longer handle. Set up more like a stiletto, which is interesting. We've got a completely neutral handle, right, that you'd expect to see a double edge come out, or an Italian stiletto. Similar clip setup, except they went with the flat-headed screws there because they learned, and we've got the button head screws there, so you potential for a little hang up with those screws on the Launch 15. Magnacut on this one too, Kai USA, internal to Kershaw design. When you see that little logo there, same thing here. And the blade lengths are the same, identical blade lengths. But to give you this view, you can see a narrower, more stiletto-ish blade on the Launch 15, on the Launch 22, a little broader, possibly a little bit more useful for your EDC cutting chores. And it is set up as kind of could be law enforcement, military, but could be strictly an EDC knife. Launch 15. Then we've got, from a while back, maybe almost 3 years ago, I got the Launch 13. And that is an interesting Wharncliffe style blade, also internal design. Look at this radical Wharncliffe blade, or whatever you want to call it, reverse tanto. You've got a lot of complicated, complex grinds here. I liked this one because it's so light, all aluminum handle, and lots of weight relieving perforations there going through and through. Deep carry, and it is switchable. And this one is in CPM 154, not 154 CM, but CPM, powder metallurgy 154. There's a world of difference between the CPM steels and the bar stock steels. That's a powder metallurgy. I love the way they angled that blade up slightly to raise the point. It's a stabby little beast and fairly high grind there, and an interesting swedge on the top. Scoop out there for your thumb landing platform, and it's fast as well. A little lighter knife, smaller, shorter knife overall. Then I wanted to bring out something from Fox that I've had quite a while. This is the Fox Predator. It is an auto version of a manual knife, the Predator, that they put out, I think, previous to this, or the manual knife might have come after this. FRN molded handle, steel frame, backspacer, fairly high grind spear point. Steel on this is N690CO. That's steel they like to use a lot in the Italian knives, and this being made in Italy is no different. A lot of Bastinelli knives, older models, N690CO. And it's a good steel. It is, they say, akin to 440. Now this has got a little bit more bite. Don't usually do paper tests on compares, but Yeah, I got a lot of easier time slicing with this guy. Nice edge they put on it. More of a handle to hold on to, possibly a little heavier because of the steel instead of aluminum. Kind of an olive green, mustardy color on the handle scales. Switchable clip, 2 ways, and nice knife. Lots to hang on to there. Thicker than the Launch series by a bit. So that is a Fox Predator as an example of an OTS. And then, not that long ago, a few days ago, I did a review on this puppy, the Worksharp RMX in reverse tanto, their first and only series of knives. Comes in a drop point longer version, a drop point shorty, and this reverse Wharncliffe. A cast magnesium alloy handle, 3V, CPM 3V on the blade, ultra thin and slicey, and yet I've seen tests where they put the tip of this in a vise and bend it like a piece of bamboo and it comes back again. Cutting board reviews, I believe, did extensive torture tests on this guy, including testing the lock mechanism by slamming weights. He did a rig there with slamming things down on the blade and so forth. But no failures. And this, again, is an amazing knife. It is a convertible knife, comes as a manual, similar to a Civivi Elementum, has 2 positions for the tension on the spring. I think I put it on number 2 for it to be a little bit faster. Ultra light, just in the 2-ounce range. Stick that up top here and zoom out just a tiny bit. So there's our lineup for today, starting out with the Launch 22, new from Kershaw, and ending up with the RMX from Worksharp. Quite an interesting array of out-the-side knives. There are many more out-the-side knives. If your favorite isn't up here for compare, my apologies, but I'd have to run about a 1-day video in order to show all the ones I've got. But hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. Click that logo, as I always say. Would love to have you subscribe to the channel and be a regular viewer and be notified every time a new vids drop. Be well. Take care. Stay safe.